My wake-up moment was watching my director, where I park in minor parks. William Pike has his parking bay next to us. And, stupid, this is the definition of stupid, is that the man who signs your check has a Pajero EO, but you got an X6 and a 240 parked next to him. That is stupid. I got rid of that car a long time ago. But how is the guy who signs my paycheck in a Pajero? I'm thinking, what have I missed here? What have I missed here? This guy signs my check, probably comes to work after mine and I, because we come in at 5 in the morning, and he looks at our cars and thinks he's doing well. Because how are we buying that? We don't own homes. William has a home in Ireland, a home in Uganda. He bought Kihingo in less time than I could blink. And here we are parking our little German machinery next to his. Nah, I'm on Japanese and I'm good right now. The good life, don't idolize it too much, don't aspire, do you? I think, and I'll speak to anybody in the room who's probably from my industry, whether it be entertainment, be it television, you've got to live your life, not your perception of what people think you got. I still laugh at people who tell me, so you're not going, like, I can't afford it right now. Really, really? In fact, what Sheka was talking about me, I'm the chick who goes on holiday in January. This is a fact of life. All hotel rates come down on my birthday, the 4th of January. All. All. And they come down by more than 50%. My daughter is 2. We can still holiday. What's she missing in school? No. She does Twinkle. Twinkle, really. We can catch up on YouTube. But I have never, ever holidayed in December. And I can understand that if you have children, that is the only time you can go away with them. But why won't you do it in the first week of December, in the last week of November? I always laugh because, y'all out there paying 300,000 shillings at the White Sands. More power to White Sands. On the other hand, Stuart Ndegwa, who works in my building, is actually my landlord at Lion Place. He's a guy who goes on holiday in that last week of November. He got money than us, combined. He does. And you've got to ask yourself, are you going on holiday with your family, or are you just keeping up with everybody and appearances? Last year, it was, how much was White Sands? It was 70, minimum of 5 nights. You walk away clean, 300,000 shillings, can't find a waiter. Eesh. No, as I say on Facebook, eesh, I can't do it. I will holiday in January. And I always do. I will book in November. I will book in June. Christmas is not a surprise. Imagine it's coming again this year. I mean, it isn't. Why all of it? And no school fees for that matter. Why you will not go to Holidays Expo and actually book your holidays in June and July like the rest of the damn Muzungus, I do not know. Have you noticed there's no white people here? Yes, they kind of understand how money works, by and large. Don't ask me what happened to the reception. Maybe there was a black person somewhere. But for me, it's as simple as that. You need to live on what you got. Stop doing other people's business. Do you? Do you? I holiday in January. I holiday in January like I know we're going away in that final week of August because everybody else will have gone on holiday. And we actually holiday during the week. When my sister and I get up and we go away with the kids, we actually arrive at whatever place on a Tuesday and we leave on a Saturday because you have to see this to believe it. I mean, our TV is even blinking. They bring another one because there's us and 22 waiters. It's the best holiday you can have. But then again, Miro's want to check in on a Saturday so that everybody can see that they were there. Okay, more power to you if you can find a waiter. If you can find a waiter. Don't do the life. Don't do the celebrity culture. Don't try and live like a politician. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's going to drive you crazy. Practical things I did after Centonomy and why. By the time I actually came to Centonomy, I'd gotten rid of the German machinery. I remember Bhupendra, who services my car at St. Austin's. Duku came home in July. I sent the car in September. And they usually send you an email and say, this is what we're going to do. Can you approve? You approve, you go ahead. And I called Bhupendra and I said, what's wrong with the car? And he just started laughing. I said, what's wrong with the car? He said, welcome to motherhood. You saw the zeros. Apparently, I'd always paid 65,000 shillings to service this car. I'd never noticed. Oh, by the way, don't get German machinery unless the government is paying for it. But, I'd never noticed. For me, it was a nothing. But 65,000 bob is a really good kindergarten. All of a sudden, the money made sense. Just because this thing that was barely 9 kgs had come into my life. So by the time I realized I needed more lessons in what am I doing with my money and how, I'd already gotten there. So for me, practicality was, I got me Japanese. Let me tell you, I remember the day it landed, it was serviced, I cut 2 keys, complete with transponder. I'm told the bill is 15K. I'm like, sitting there thinking, are you crazy? To cut one Mercedes key is 32,000 shillings and it's airlifted. Why did I have that thing? There was something wrong with my head. Very wrong with my head. I mean, and the thing, what Sheket teaches you is, and then again, if that's what you want, more power to you, but give me your 32K, please. I can buy land somewhere. But if that's what you want, how do you create the sort of wealth that allows you to afford that car? Because it makes no sense to me that you are parking a 10 million shilling car in front of your house and you're paying rent. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? So, I'm loving Japanese right now. And then, the worst thing is, and Washeka says this, when you make a decision to do something, all of a sudden you begin to see it everywhere. And my neighbors, we had a get together and I walk in and they're like, welcome. And I was like, why is the eyebrow up? And they were like, come on, 26 houses here and you are the only chick with a Mercedes. All my neighbors on Prados, all of them, even the ones who work for red plate organizations. And then there was crazy chick over there. They knew I was single. Oh, yeah. Because you can only be that vacuous with your money if you're single. You can only be. My approach to investments is very clear. How's it going to make money for me long term? Long term. I have no intention of waking up for Patrick Kwaku for another, I don't know how many years. Incidentally, another thing that maybe Washeke ought to tell you is do something you love. I don't have a problem waking up at 4. I don't know why everybody talks about it like it's the end of the day. I don't have a problem. I love what I do for a living. I have a fantastic job and I have a fantastic environment. But then again, if you're not doing what you love, it doesn't resonate through your soul and it doesn't get you anywhere. The bile just kills every little thing. So if you're in a job you hate, find a way to get out of it because it just won't give you anything back. But it's just and I always say when I got my mortgage, I realized, I do not work for Patrick Kwaku anymore. I work for me. Because it totally refocuses your money. But also making that investment and making that step is what freed me into start thinking, if I can do that and live, and there's a point there you will faint where you pay the 4% stamp duty to the government, your lawyer will allow you to pay the payments. Gavada, I know that story. But, you're on 2-minute noodles again, and it's only for a while, it's 2-3 months, and you get back up again, and you ask yourself, okay, that wasn't too bad. I survived it. What else can I do? But you've got to do the first one, and as most people say, eat that frog. Do the big one, the ugly one now. If you already don't have a family and children, if you're in your 20s, number one, we hate you. No, we do. If you're in your early 30s and you haven't done that whole, wife, husband, children thing, do your stuff now. The maths changes from the moment children enter the cycle. It doesn't matter who you are. The maths changes. If I'd never bought my home when I did, I don't think I could take up an investment that large. But we live post-mortgage, so we are where we are. But I cannot see myself making that sort of commitment. I think twice about every little thing I do because of her. So if you're in your 20s, now is the time to do it. If I hadn't bought my first flat, and my first flat, I always tell Washeke, was really silly because I took a company loan, and a guy called Gunjiri used to be our financial controller, and because it was a company loan, there were months I used to go to him and tell him, usikate mwezi. So, it took me a little while, but, I didn't have the whole drama of there's a bank and it gets deducted at source and da. But I was glad I did it in my 20s. I'm glad I committed to my mortgage before my daughter came along because there are things I cannot do now. I am a little more cautious. I'm a little more careful. I don't have the jump and I'll fly on the way down. I don't have that. So if you're in your 20s, now is when to do it. There was a girl who was, how was she? 24? 21? I even hate her more. She was 21 in our class, and every time, Washeka said something, we'd sit there and look at her and think, gosh, why didn't we do this at 25? Why didn't we do this at 25? Sign up, grow up. I think a person who takes up Centonomy is a grown-up. Sign up and grow the hell up. Stop spending your money on nonsense. I mean, I can't believe that you're going to spend your money on drinking cheap beer when you could actually make a lifestyle that allows you to drink Hennessy. Really? Really? Give up a few more nights of drinking rubbish so that you can, live the life. Another thing that I still think the time is here, and only Washeke knows this because she will take you through a report that I've become the ambassador for, and it's the McKinsey Global Report called Lions on the Move. There's a 51-year-old in State House. If you're somewhere between 35 and 45 and you don't understand the next 5 years is all you got, we need to give you a frontal lobotomy. We do. We need to take out your brain, put it down, and give you another one. There's a 51-year-old in State House. The game change is on. Don't get left out. Every decision you're going to make in the next 5 years, actually the next 4, because we have a rubbish economy. We were on a 4.5-year cycle, and then we all lose our minds in campaigns, like there isn't life after an election. Hashtag accept and move on, okay? But look, I always say this, and I don't know about the rest of you all in here. I am Caroline Mutoko for life. I am not running for re-election. I'm not getting caught up in your madness. I'm not. I got a life I need to work on. But if you don't get it, that there's a 42-year-old cabinet secretary, if you don't understand that something moved, and we used to sit around thinking that you could actually do certain things when you're 60, when you're 65. I mean, anybody who's my age and Washeka's, and we're 32. Anybody who's that age needs to understand we are the former future leaders of tomorrow. We got lapped. We did. All we've got now is experience and the wherewithal to get on with it. But if we don't get on with it, by the time 2017 comes along, we'll have missed out on everything.